Hello everyone, JT here, and today I want to just talk a little bit about customer care. And that means not just caring for a customer, but caring about your customers, or your clients, or your prospects. So last week I had a little issue. I got up in the morning and my car wouldn't start. And after ruling out that it wasn't the battery, which is pretty common here down in South Florida, ended up having it towed to a service place that I use frequently here, Jack's. It's just a local business, and gave it over to them. When I walked into their shop, they said hi. They know me there, offered me some coffee, and then proceeded to ask me what was going on with the car. So while I was there, they pulled it up to take a look at it, and very shortly they came back and said, well, the issue is that you're not getting compression on any of the cylinders. But for us to really determine it, we're going to have to run a compression test, so it's going to cost about $200. Now, I've had prior experience with them. I trust them because of this prior experience. And I said, yeah, okay, go ahead and do that. And I went back home. About 4 hours later, we got a call and saying, well, yep, we're not getting compression on any of the cylinders. And, it could be it's unlikely, but it's almost like it skipped timing. And I said, well, okay, then, so what's that mean? He says, well, we're going to have to take the engine apart. We're going to have to look at the timing belt. And then if we need to replace that, it's going to be about $900. Again, I was thinking, well, geez, do I really want to spend that on the car? It's an older car. I said, well, go ahead and do that. So they proceeded to do that, take the engine apart. So they called me back at the end of the day saying it was going to take them until tomorrow morning to really finish off the work. Would that be okay? I said, sure. So the next morning, they called me back. I didn't have to call them. And they said, well, we got it all apart, but before we did all the work, we tested a few things and realized that the valves had gotten bent. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he says, well, that means you're going to have to probably replace the entire engine. And I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah. And he said, given the age of the car, he said, I really wouldn't recommend doing that. And he says, and because that you're probably going to have to go out and get a new car then. He says, I'm not going to charge you the $830 for the work. I'm just going to charge you for a little bit of the labor, about $150. And I'll help you, get rid of this car and do some other things. And I thanked him and then proceeded to go through the process of finding a new car. The reason why I share this with you is because it's an example of caring about your customers and prospects. Not just caring for them, but caring about them. And I use this acronym, the C.A.R.E acronym, C.A.R.E, as rules that you should follow all the time with any customer, with any prospect. And the first one, C, is for consistent experience. That means any time that you're interacting with that customer, whether it's through a product, whether it's through your service organization, whether it's through sales, they should experience the same consistent interaction every single time. One of the reasons why I go to this Jack's is because I know each time I go there, they're going to know who I am. They're going to respond to my questions. They're going to call me back without me having to call them back to find out what's going on. They're going to give me fair pricing. They're going to let me know before they do any work what if there's some additional charges. And that consistent experience is why I go back to them, why I don't go off to some other place. The second, the A, is to ask. In other words, don't assume that you know what the customer wants. Ask, find out. Ask your prospects, ask your customers, what is it that they really need to get from you or your product? And then make sure that you respond to them in a positive fashion. Make sure that those questions that they're asking you are important to you as well. The R in CARE stands for being responsive and reliable. So if you say you're going to do something, do it. Customers should not have to chase you down. Your prospects should not have to chase you down. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Be responsive to your customers. One of my companies, we have a limit where if we have to respond to the customer, if they send us an email or support question, within a half an hour. And we measure this, and we make sure that this happens all the time. And the E in CARE stands for having empathy. In other words, understanding that your customer, your prospect, they have other options. They have other options to get a similar product. They have other options to go and do business with a different company. So you have to really get into their heads, feel for them, put yourself in their shoes. If they're having a problem, you have to understand that, how would you feel in a similar situation with the same problem? If you're trying to sell them a particular product, it's because you understand that your product's going to assist them. It's going to help them with a particular problem. So remember that, C.A.R.E. And when you do this, you're going to maintain your customers. You're going to have repeat customers. They're going to recommend you to other people, just as I do with this Jack service. So have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.